Israel launched a strike against Iran in retaliation for its attack last weekend, according to U.S. media. ABC, CBS, and CNN, among other media, reported the strikes early Friday Middle East time, quoting U.S. officials. There was no immediate comment from the White House. Iran activated its air defense system over several cities after the country's official broadcasters said explosions were heard near the central city of Isfahan. Israel warned it would hit back after Iran fired hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel over the weekend. Most of them were intercepted. Tensions remain high in the wider Middle East after Iran's unprecedented missile and drone attack on Israel on April 13. Iran launched hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel in response to an apparent Israeli strike on Iran's embassy compound in Syria on April 1 that killed 12 people, including 2 Iranian generals. First Lady Liza Marcos admits snubbing Vice President Sara Duterte following her attendance at the controversial prayer rally where President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was called a drug addict. During the prayer rally organized by Duterte's family in January, the Vice President's father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, called incumbent President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. bangag, a slang term for a drug user. In an interview on Tune In kay Tunying, the First Lady says she felt hurt on her husband's behalf when Vice President Duterte was reportedly seen laughing following former President Duterte's remarks. The First Lady notes the President and Vice President's strong relationship during the 2022 elections, but she questions Vice President Duterte's behavior when her father called President Marcos a drug addict. The First Lady adds that even former Vice President Leni Robredo, who has strained ties with President Marcos, didn't do such thing. According to the First Lady, she was always kind to Vice President Duterte. She also adds that President Marcos would do everything to protect Vice President Duterte. Speculations of the First Lady snubbing Vice President Duterte circulated after footage from President Marcos's departure ceremony to Vietnam in January showed the two women seemingly avoiding each other. During the interview, the First Lady also recounts instances where she admittedly snubbed the Vice President. Asked if there's any hope of reconciliation between her and Vice President Duterte, the First Lady says the Vice President is already in her bad graces. The Inquirer reached out to the office of the Vice President to seek her comment on the First Lady's remarks in the interview, but she has yet to respond. 3 overseas Filipino workers in the United Arab Emirates have died in the massive flooding caused by record rains in the desert nation this week. Department of Migrant Workers Officer in charge Hans Kakdak confirms the deaths but does not identify the victims. According to Kakdak, 2 women died due to suffocation inside a vehicle during the flooding. Meanwhile, Kakdak says the third OFW died due to major injuries sustained from an accident after his vehicle fell into a sinkhole at the height of the flooding. Kakdak says the DMW officers and the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration offices in Dubai and Abu Dhabi will provide all the assistance needed to the families of the 3 OFWs. On Tuesday, April 16, the torrential downpour reportedly brought 254 millimeters of rain to the region.